Hello, dear viewers of the podcast Caught in the Motion. Welcome again, and with me, the main host, Yavor Ivanov, and my co-host, Kubrat Ivanov, more known as Kubi.
Hello everyone, today's episode is about social media where we'll be talking and discussing the pros and cons of it. We'll be also going in depth on what our personal position about social media is, how we use it, whether we use it in general, and how social media affects the world and how it can be manipulated as well.
So I have the honor to start with the first question. What do you think is generally speaking, the pros and cons of the social media, Kubi?
Social media, it's a big controversy it is because there are definitely a lot of pros, like you can promote a business or anything. You can promote anything for free. It's non-payable advertisement that, yeah, you have to put a little bit of effort into it, but it's not like you're paying to be on the newspaper, on the TV, and it's a really easy way to get people to look at your business, club, or whatever you're working on. But there are also the cons, obviously, of people spending too much time by it, people comparing themselves to other people on social media, and I don't know, me personally, as a teenager growing up here, I don't find a big use of social media. I'm a private guy. I don't like to post myself on the internet. I don't use Facebook. I have an Instagram account. I have those things, but I'd use it for the general browsing, maybe because I'm into sports, like all the football transfers. But that side of social media where you're posting and you're trying to show off maybe what's going in your life, I find that a waste of time personally. Now, there are lots of people making a living, making a lot of money out of that, but it's just not for me. So personally, I don't even use it that much. If I'm gonna look at a screen, it's probably I don't even know, contacting my friends, because I don't watch too many movies. But yeah, me personally, I think if social media is more of a negative rather than a positive, there's more cons to it, because you see all the cases with even pedophiles on it. You have people relying too much on it and making friendships, which we'll go on later on in the episode. So I think social media is made for the worst rather than for the best.
Okay.
So that wraps up my question, because it's really down to individual use and what if you're making money from it or if you're not. But my question towards you is, as a person, an individual from the previous generation, what's your opinion about it? How much do you use it? What are the pros and cons? What do you think about it?
In many ways, I will share your thoughts and feelings towards social media. I think it's more negative sides than positive. Even you mentioned advertising. Even advertising in most of the social media, you can advertise for free in a certain level or a certain number of audience to promote your product or your club or whatever it is. You have to pay extra to reach more viewers. So there is a free
Way of
doing it and advertising it. But then if you want to reach a wider audience, you have to pay.
Yeah.
So I think it's even myself. I noticed that with social media, I wasting time more on the phone or on the computer rather than reading, because when we didn't have that in my generation, I hope you don't mean that I'm too old.
No.
And I remember that instead of being on the phone or the laptop or a computer, I read much more. So I'm not saying that in the social media you cannot get useful and interesting information, but there is a lot of rubbish as well. and
It's just really easy to slip on. You go on it for 2
Yeah,
minutes and then 20
yeah.
minutes pass.
And this knowledge is haphazard in social media. Here it's a piece of information. There is piece of information in a philosophical way. The other is a historical piece of information. The other is about a writer. So kind of the information is haphazard. I'm not saying that it's not can be not useful, some phrase or a map or something, but generally speaking, I think reading it's much better than social media.
Okay. So obviously, we saw how you feel about it, but my next question towards you is: do you think that social media is harmful?
Definitely, I think it's harmful. We are witnessing not only in the news but even in the vicinity of our areas, and we see a lot of children and teenagers hurt themselves because they're bullied. When I did my Master of Education, we studied about bullying, and my focus was on bullying and at school and outside of school. And one of the biggest problems nowadays for bullying and teasing the kids in a bad way between each other is the social media.
Yeah.
Sometimes the kids are on summer break. They haven't seen each other for 3 months. One principal shared this information with me when I was doing these interviews. And he said, and a teacher as well, another teacher, and they came back to school, say in September, and they start to fight. And they said, why are you fighting? Like, why are they fighting? They haven't seen each other for 2 months. But actually, through the social media, they exchange nasty words, comments, and even pictures or whatever. And so in that sense, social media, it's a very negative thing. It's a weapon that can be used in both ways. Could be like the knife. The knife can be used to cut bread, but the knife can be used to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So it depends of the tool you're using it. So yeah, definitely social media can be very harmful, and I think going back to the pros and cons, I think is more to leaning to the negative side.
Yeah, exactly. It's even the fact that you go onto social media, and then sometimes you have to be careful on what you say, how you say it. Now, most of the time, I don't really care if I'm going to comment something. I'm going to say really what's my opinion. And then even just the general use of it, you're going to go into this link, that link, and you always have to have something in your head. Oh, is this safe? What can this get me into? What can this happen? Which is something I'm not bothered to go through. That's why I'm not a big fan of it. And even to continue on about stories. Now, I'm not going to say, because I know them personally. I'm not going to disclose who they are, how they know them. But pretty much, one of them was a classmate of mine, the other one isn't. So throughout one of the breaks, or throughout school time or whatever, one of, I'm not going to say which gender, but everybody can kind of guess which one uses the app more, had got into their account, somehow got the password, whatever, got into the other person's account, and then they start posting horrible stuff in the name of the person's account. So everybody thinking it's from the individual A, but it's individual B posting it. So I didn't see the use of what the intentions were. Obviously they were bad, but I don't know what you can win out of it. And then the police was contacted even. Eventually we got down to the end of it. Well, I was obviously just a spectator. And it just shows these useless little bad scenarios that can occur. Because realistically, there was no, obviously then the parents' disappointment that individual B done that to the other person. But there was no really big repercussions there because it was just a small incident, but a nasty one. And it just shows that how careful you have to be on social media as well, on who you're giving out your passwords, what's happening, because these two people were considered friends. Now,
yeah, but you're saying a small scenario, accidents, nasty ones, but they can ruin your day or 100%, a week, or the whole season. With a few, if they occur to few like that, and you're not with thick skin, then can ruin all the summer or all the winter or whatever, a few months of your life. Or even, how I said, can lead to suicide thoughts, So they should not be ignored. And the principal I spoke, he as well had a strong opinion that bullying, internet, cyberbullying should be a crime, should be a law, and to be considered as a crime. And I totally agree with him.
Yeah.
Because cyberbullying is as bad as personal bullying, because you have your picture there. They know who abusing you most of the time, and wider audience can see it. So it's more or less the same like in real life.
Yeah.
And really, I think most of the countries or all countries should make a law that cyberbullying should be a crime.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And punishment should be severe.
I'm pretty sure that nowadays they do have the laws where if you're over 15 or 16, officially you're considered, a teenager, but one that can be prosecuted throughout cyberbullying, because you do have, your brain is developed to some extent to where you're considered fully conscious. As a child you might do something stupid without thinking. And so I'm pretty sure that now, in Ireland at least, I'm pretty sure they're trying, or they have implemented some laws, but they're obviously not as strict as...
Yeah, I know that they implemented a year or two ago in Ireland that you cannot post erotic or a nude picture of somebody you don't have his consent or her consent, which is great. It was a bit late, but better late than never. And cyberbullying in that sense, using social media can be really nasty and lead to really very negative outcome.
Yeah. But it's stressful, because the thing is, most of the time, you won't even know who's doing it to you, because they hide behind the screen. They have their picture, whatever, but it might not even be them. It could be just a totally black profile picture, and you don't know who it is. And you could say it is easy to get rid of it at the start, where you just block it. But even sometimes I've read about certain things, explicitly on the internet, where people throughout Facebook, like psychopaths, even they track people and start tormenting them over the internet, people that they don't know, and they block one account, they contact the police, but they just keep creating more and more and more. So that's one of the things. And another thing about the whole situation that can happen between, as you said, with school opening up and then fights happening, I think the parents sometimes have a fault at it as well, because I'm seeing 3-4-year-olds get given like fully functional smartphones where they have access to social media, videos, unlimited searching options when they go on Google, which not only can be harmful mentally, but they're very open to being a victim, so I think there should be more control, because how you done it, I don't know if you've done this intentionally, how it was when I was small growing up. You remember, Kubi, I have a phone for you, and I was 9 or 10, and this is my first ever phone that I got. Was, I don't know what was it, a BlackBerry or what it was, with a keypad. It was a phone with a keypad. He goes, the only thing that you need this for is just having connection with us when you go out to play football, even though I was just across the street. Better be safe than sorry. That's all you gave it to me. And then eventually, when I grew up, and obviously I started secondary school and all of that, you started to progress, and then you gave me the trust to a phone, which I think was great, because that case that had happened in school that I was telling you about happened while I was in primary school. So people that weren't thinking adequately as they were just children.
Yeah, definitely. You make a very interesting and important point that it's not only the kids, and in the bottom of all, it's the lack of parental control and parental common sense. So I definitely agree with you there. And as you remember, I was kind of, in a way, protecting you from something that is necessary to happen, and I think nobody deserves to this, and the parents should be very conscious when it comes to giving smartphones or tablets or whatever it is, devices that connect you with the internet and the social media, and this because can lead to really nasty cyber accidents. My next question is let's make the atmosphere a little bit
Yeah,
more
yeah.
lighter. We went too deep, too dark.
Yeah.
As a teenager is the time of romances, of time when life look more pink than dark, if
Yeah.
you like, more brighter than dark, and more cheerful than serious, and which is natural, and it's a wonderful time of a human being life, and that's the time of romances, and that's lead to my next question is, do you think you can make first of all, before we go to the romantic side of it, you can make friends in the social media, and also can you make a meet and have a girlfriend through the social media? What do you think
Well,
of that?
obviously it's possible nowadays, especially with the well-known app. For an example, going on to finding a partner, you have Tinder. If you're ever looking to
No,
just
I
maybe-
haven't.
yeah, no, just no, yeah.
And even
No,
if
you're,
I
yeah,
have,
you're a married
even,
man. I know,
even
yeah.
if I had, I won't go to admit it.
Yeah,
you know?
no, if,
No, just joking. I
Yeah,
never been now.
if you're searching for a partner, you always have nowadays with the choice of doing it virtually, as well as you could be trying, obviously meeting new people,
Yeah.
new places. You also, I suppose, have the choice now of installing an app like Tinder, where you just create your profile, put in your common interests, and then it helps, the system helps you match up with people that relatively are into the same stuff as that. About creating friends, I suppose you can also do it throughout video games and stuff like that, because even I have a case where I have a friend in Bulgaria that I've made. How I made him officially, I was speaking to him a year before I met him in person. But how I knew who he is was because he was a mutual friend of mine. Because even though we got in touch throughout the internet, because of a friend that I know in person that I grew up like a childhood friend, I knew that he was real. I had that trust already in it. Because another thing about social media is it's very deceitful. You don't know who really is behind the screen. I wouldn't trust anybody behind the screen. And even apps like that, you even have Tinder, where you had the very popular Netflix movie that came out. We watched it together, the Tinder Swindler, where I just, as a person, I don't trust a lot of people. The only people I trust is my family. So I don't know. I wouldn't think that the best and viable way to make a friend or even meet a partner is throughout the internet. Obviously, that's possible, and I'm sure that some of our viewers will comment underneath. I met this, or my husband. Even people are getting married, which is fair enough. Everybody has their own way, but personally, I don't think that is the best way. I think just as we're naturally born to be social animals, you have to go out in person and get that experience. Even sometimes you might get rejected, you might or you meet different personalities friends wise, and you see, oh, I don't like the way he thinks, I don't like the way he views the world. But that's very easy to see and to find when you're in person. Well, a person behind the screen, I'm giving you now an extreme, a very extreme scenario, could be, for all you know, a killer, and he's just behind the screen and he's saying, oh yeah, I love this, I wouldn't trust anybody. I wouldn't go on it as a
it's
main
come
source.
up now. I was talking to our friend Stefan Muriarty just yesterday, and he reminded me of one case there. We were talking about crime, and that here in Daneri, just not long ago, a few years ago, one girl met this guy in the internet, in the social media. He said that he's older and played that he's older, and they went for a walk to meet in the nearby pier, and he took a knife, he was only 16, and slit her throat and her face. So I mean, that's a very extreme example. I'm sure there is people who met and they have the love of their lives, but, meet the love they're always looking for, and they match and all that, but also, we have to be very conscious that there is a lot of really nasty and twisted accidents. How you said about your friend, your intuition kind of help you to recognize that he's a good guy, but not always you can trust in your intuition.
No.
Yeah, of course, I'm pro people believe and trust completely them intuition. It's very important, and for me, intuition is the your angel who is sent to you when you're born, but that's my own belief. And so you always should listen your conscience or the voice of the angel in what I believe. So, but not always you can really
No,
in
no.
internet, because there's thousands of people, millions of people.
No, but why I gave the example of my friend was because I knew people that have met him already. So I knew he wasn't like a 50-year-old, for an example, behind the screen. Like I already knew that he was who he was because
Yeah.
I have friends in Bulgaria there that have been out with him and know obviously that he's him. And but social media did help me to obviously we'd call each other every day. What's up? You know, what's going on with your life? We play video games together, and it is a handy tool to have to get to know somebody. But why I was comfortable doing that was because I wasn't doing it from scratch. I knew he was my friend's friend. Eventually, we met through being together on a call.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, what's up?" And I kind of knew him already, but I knew who he was. He was a teenager, obviously my age, a mutual friend of mine.
Yeah.
The only thing social media done in that situation was just me getting to know him if I would like to meet him in person, and just become closer friends. Because even nowadays, what I'd like to add, another problem, people are being over-reliant on using the internet to communicate to people, where they cut themselves off from reality, from the physical world, and all they do, the only way they communicate to people is through the internet. Now, I've had some experiences, and I know people that are extremely awkward because they don't have that experience as a
They
teenager.
don't build ability and
Exactly.
skills to communicate in the real world, because they're always in the
Exactly.
on the front of the screen.
Communicating is a skill. You can obviously be born natural at it, where you're slightly better at somebody else. But communication is a skill. If you don't go to speak to people and you don't
You're
learn,
developing through communicating in real life with
Exactly.
people. You develop them that way. You can't develop them staying all the time in front of the screen or front
Yeah.
of the phone.
it's different when you're on a call with somebody virtually and somebody that you haven't met at all until actually putting yourself in a new place, in a new area, a new friend group, and seeing what people are like. Because trust me, the difference, it's as logical as it thinks. One's a screen, the other one is real life.
And in real life, even if you go to details, when you meet somebody, you see all the reaction of the body language.
Exactly.
And then online, maybe you don't see it at all, or you just see part of the body or only the head.
Yeah.
And when you're with a real person, I think you have even more, you sense it more, what kind of person is in front of you or beside you. So yeah, definitely I agree on that one with you. And next question, you almost answered it, but I'm going to rephrase it, this question. I was going to ask you, do you think there is a lot of built through the social media fake friendship? But let's rephrase it because you more or less answered this question. It's do you think there are made more fake friendships than the real friendship through social media?
Well, yeah, I think most friendships on social media are a lie. I think they're. I've met people throughout the internet, maybe through playing video games, or for a bit we might communicate here and there because we're playing video games together at the same time. We're on the same team or whatever. But I wouldn't even call that a friendship. But it's just short-term communication and even long-term communication. I always even say to my friends when they say, I've been speaking to this person for a very long time, but I go, you've never met the person. They go, no. I go, a real friendship starts the moment you've met each other, the moment you've hung out together, and the moment you actually get to know each other more, because then you see how the personality is. I go, everything that you see, hear, or read on the internet, I believe that it's not true, because you don't see the emotion behind it, you don't see the intent behind it, you don't see the true meaning behind each word that's said to you. Until if you have the person right in front of you, he's staring right in your eyes, and he lies or she lies or they're sounding fake, or they're trying to set you up for something. Naturally, you could see it, as you said, the body language, the tone of voice, and you could think more logically. Well, behind social media, it's just a screen. It's just a screen.
Yeah, and I want to, in this context, to cite the Bible. It's saying, from the deeds you should know them. And it's very true. It's why favorite part of the this quote of the Bible, and really you can't really make the judgment, and you find the true friendship when from the deeds. When in internet, that's narrow. This possibility. In real life, you can see who stands in the difficult moments with you.
Exactly.
No matter what kind of moments are that, and. They prove that they're your true friends. Then in internet, I think this possibility is very narrow, and it's hard to somebody to prove or disprove it's your friend.
100%.
So yeah,
100%. I agree with you. Obviously, now everything that we're stating, I'm sure that it's very arguable with some points to turn it into a pro, but we're generalization. There's generalization here. You have more of a chance of the con happening than the pro.
I think so. I don't want to disagree with any of our viewers that have a different view. If they have, that's fine. It's no problem having different view. And if they had a really positive experience in internet, that's in the social media, that's great. And I'm sure many people met them partners through the social media. But generally speaking, I agree with you that there is more negative side than positive side. The dark side is bigger than the brighter side of the social media.
100%. Now moving on from that topic and getting a little bit more personal, what do you use social media the most for?
I use it mainly to post pictures, and I'm a little bit different than you. I am kind of... maybe a little bit looking for attention. Then you are very private compared than you. I'm really too open, maybe in a way. Posting pictures. Somebody called the Facebook, for example, gossip box, and I think it is like a gossip box. That's one famous singer or Lingurano from Bulgaria said it, and it's a very good description of that. Also to see some information sometimes about what's going on in the world, like news. If I can get it on the television, you get it straight away in the social media. But generally I try to stay not too long in social media, maybe no more than an hour a day, because even if I have spare time, because to me, in generally speaking, it's a waste of time. When I remember myself when I was a child growing up in, how you said, I'm a different generation older. I hope you don't mean very old. Then I have more time to read. I didn't disrupt my attention with Facebook, Instagram, and all this. And I read more. So I generate more information, more knowledge, if you like. In that sense, So that's mainly for what I use. News, maybe post pictures, and see how my friends going. And one sad event now come to my mind, that a friend of mine who I haven't met for a long time, the social media helped me to find out that he died. And I don't know, is that good or bad, but at least I find out that he's dead, because I thought, if I didn't find it through social media, actually your mother, I noticed it, who was a friend of mine for many years, rest in peace. And through social media, I find out that he's dead. So sometimes even these sad events, but it's good to know if some of your friends or relatives pass away and you didn't know and you find out. So that's all really I using the social media. I wouldn't be now trying to be influencer or anything else like that. With you.
Other than our podcast.
I was going to say the podcast, but these podcasts are for fun, and I like to learn. We like to show different points of different subjects and topics. As well, we have a very knowledgeable guest, MMA legend Stefan Muriarty, talk about martial arts. So to review to the people who has a very narrow opinion about
we have guests from different even continents, from
United States, from Ireland, and to share their knowledge as well with the public.
Exactly.
So if somebody learns something about life, about history, about martial arts, that's great. Our main aim is to have fun and people
share
to
knowledge.
share knowledge with the public. That's
because
our
we see a lot of podcasts. Now, I'm not down talking any other podcasts. Obviously, we're not as big as some of the ones nowadays because we've just started off 2 months ago. But I see other podcasts which is fair enough, people are into that, where they only gossip or talk about just the same thing, and realistically that knowledge that you get of a current situation that's going on on the internet doesn't help you out in life. So anyways, if anybody that's even been watching us like every single episode or here and there and has been wondering what our goal is as podcasters here, it's to share knowledge. We're not looking to share any information that would be irrelevant to anybody. Now, if you learn something and you might not think that you use it later on in life, fair enough. But it's better knowledge, in my opinion, than some gossip on the internet that won't help you out.
This podcast turn us gossiping, talking about stars or neighbors or anybody.
Yeah.
I think me and you will leave that podcast.
Yeah, I don't.
This is not a podcast for gossiping here. It's to share knowledge, to have fun,
Yeah.
to show different points of different that we thought important topics or subjects. To show different points, and everybody can make the conclusions themselves.
Yeah, and even to see what we are as people, because obviously us displaying our own opinions kind of shows a bit of our personality and the way we think, our mentality. So
Exactly. So somebody said that person will learn all his life. So it's true, because we're learning all the time. I learn from some podcasts, from some programs, from some documentary, from some even films, how the people can react, and that's what's the aim of our podcast. Anyway, to share knowledge, to have fun, and to discuss this with topics and subjects that we thought are important. For example, the podcast with Stefan Moriarty, a lot of people were surprised that martial arts is so much, you have to be so much intelligent, you have to really dedicate yourself to learn to have balance and so on, so much. And they were kind of saying, oh, we thought only like a monster sports, MMA, fighting, killing each other. But actually, they saw after the podcast with Stefan Moriarty that martial arts is not all about hitting each other and killing each other. But anyway, I will move on to the next question because if we continue talking, we won't stop. Both of us are like chatterbox. Do you think the parents should impose some restriction when the children under, say, 16 or maybe not in 18, a bit older, but say under 16 to impose some restriction using social media?
Oh, 100%. I don't think a child should be given a smartphone until they're 13. I think they could be using, I'm referencing obviously my childhood and my situation. I think that was the best way that it could have possibly been done, because staying in touch and staying with contact with your child is very important. But that doesn't mean that they need a phone for €1,500 that grants them access to everything that's, whether there's more political stuff, like the more mature content to the childish one. You can very easily regulate that. Maybe you could buy, for an example, a family tablet, or even if they are granted a phone at a younger age, an older model. Because I'm seeing some kids. No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the parents' decision. We're not judging. We're not judging. I've seen phones for €1,500 being bought to an 8-year-old child that doesn't really know its alphabet yet.
Look, I don't want to be saying I'm the smartest person. I know the best way to bring your child. But for me, instead of spending, say, €500 on a phone for a child who is 7 or 9 or 10, I would prefer to spend this money to bring this child to the zoo, or buy some nice book if the child wants to read. If not, maybe bring to the museum if they're interested. They learn something, they have fun as well, and it's not harmful. And quite opposite, they can learn something, they can have fun in the same time than spending a huge amount of money for something that can be harmful. And really, in my opinion, it's not that important and huge demand that you have to have it.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you were to give your child a smartphone, nowadays you have all the big apps like YouTube, I'm sure that there's other ones, but right now I'm thinking of YouTube Kids, for an example,
Yeah.
where you can just block off all those apps, but you can only grant access to the phone to only have those ones. And then you can also, for an example, if you've given a 10-year-old the phone, you could block the searching to a point. I'm pretty sure there's like a parental lock on it. So they can only search to some pedigree of stuff, we'll say, which is all great because it limits them to stuff that they shouldn't see. And they're still, you know, kept away from all those negative stuff and social media even. I think that you should start using social media at least when you're going into secondary school. I think that's the youngest you should, 13, 14. Because I don't see a use of it. I genuinely
and also
don't see
there
a
is
use
no
of it.
maybe such a philosophy or a teaching how to be prepared for social media, but really you have to kind of in a way I think to have a little preparation to what you're facing, because social media, how we said earlier, could be nasty, could be terrible, many millions of terrible scenarios can happen. So before you start to using it, you have to be kind of get
have a
ready
bit of
mentally,
maturity.
for the social
Exactly.
media. So, and that's lead to my next question. What do you prefer than social media instead of social media? What do you prefer before the social media?
Well, I don't use it that much. It really takes up a very limited and small amount of my daytime. I do lots of things. I train. Now, obviously, I'm on my summer holiday. I don't really study that much. The closest thing to studying, I suppose, and learning would be just reading in my own time, which I enjoy doing. Train. Obviously, family time. I like to play with my sister here and there. Obviously, she gets a bit annoying, and that's when I leave. But that's normal.
All small sisters get noise, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if anybody wants to type in the comments, just talk about their annoying sister or you never know, sibling. But no, I feel like just because the way how I use it is I don't post myself. I don't care about. And I think I have one post on my Instagram, and the funny story behind it is it was posted 2 years ago because my mother forced me to post it. She was like, "Oh, but Kubi, this is a fantastic photo. I think your friends would love it." And I go, "Yeah, but what's the use of them? See, they know I'm on holidays. What's the use of me sharing it?" And she goes, No, post it." And then whatever, I posted that photo, and she goes, "Look, you're getting likes, you're obviously comments." And I go, "This is."
You see, that's fitting as well. We didn't get to that part, the ego of the people.
Exactly.
The ego, and a lot of people have ego, and only place to kind of fit them, to feeding them ego is go on social media. You can see some people post every 10, 15 minutes. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to post every minute, it's fine. But maybe there is a ego, some dream they never came true, and they see it through the social media, even though these videos or clips or pictures are for some people they watch very small number of people. So, but
it kind of tickles your ego. Oh, you look fantastic in this. Oh, this. Oh, that. And I remember I was looking at my phone, and my mother was like, "See, you're getting reactions from people." And I go, "Mother, this was a complete waste of my time of posting it and putting a caption on it." I go, I don't feel anything. It's just behind the screen. I'd rather be complimented on something that I've accomplished myself through hard work, through dedication, through
hard training,
discipline.
Discipline, yeah.
But anybody, doesn't matter what they're doing in life, can just post something stupid and they can get lots and lots of reactions.
Yeah, that's another topic that it's. I don't know if the world went silly, but now we remember these experiments I make. You were against it, but I post really something really silly, stupid stupid, dopey in TikTok, and I told you this will be more watched than one book I and you advertised, and it got 3-4 times more watched than. And I told you now as is stupid. You get more attention,
100%.
and people love it. Said, "Look at that! My God!" Even with the art, one stupid Bulgarian song could become worldwide famous, and actually the song doesn't have even lyrics.
Yeah.
Shtibididap, dubididap. something really being soothing art. If you say this is part of the art and music, that's not music. This is some metaphor in a very ugly sense when it comes to music.
Yeah.
And it got world famous.
Yeah, that's the thing.
In my time, if you put this like that 30 years ago,
you're gonna get made fun of.
Made fun of. Now it's
as
a
it is.
great song. This song doesn't have even lyrics. But okay, classical music doesn't have lyrics, but classical music is...
that's
a level, that's
skill.
This is, space music, if you like. It's from the space. This is something unbelievable, the classical music. It's in such a high level to listen, to understand it. Then this stupid song, unbelievable. The music, there's no lyrics, some voices.
That's what's happening now.
That's showing that the world is really changing and really stupidity are...
it's taking over 100%. Sure. Even in our last episode where we had Professor Tain, where he was saying 50% of the people, because he was referencing Twitter, are below average IQ. So there you go. So if you're going to post something stupid, you're more than likely going to get other stupid people.
Maybe world always been so stupid, if you like, so dopey, but now the social media revealing access. It's revealing it with the full ugliness of this stupidity of the world and the people inhabited it. But it's...
Well, that leads me on to my question, which I think we kind of throughout this whole episode since the very start we were answering it. If social media was to disappear in the snap of a finger, would humanity be better off without it?
I would say yes, because then the kids will, and teenagers, and adults, for example, kids will spend more time with their family, they will read more, they play more outside, which is very healthy and good, and developing, how we said earlier, communication skills.
Exactly.
For the teenagers also, instead of insulting each other in social media, they can play football or whatever sports
and
playing games.
Now, this might sound a bit bad, this might sound a bit vulgar, but if you're going to insult somebody, say it to their face. Be a man about it, because nowadays people are used to it.
They're a lot of cowards.
They're sitting behind the screen and they think that because they can say whatever they want on social media, they'll get away with it in real life. No, if you're going to disrespect somebody, you need to expect, obviously, a backlash that he can speak back to you, because when it's face to face, it's totally different story.
Exactly. That's I agree with you. We didn't kind of didn't thought of that aspect. And for adults, for example, we disappeared in second social media. For the adult, they will have more time instead of watching these phones and screens. It's more time for your wife, for the wife, for the husband, for the kids, than wasting this time.
Exactly, because I don't want anybody to...
How many times you have seen somebody looking at Facebook or whatever, and the other person is talking to that person, and the person doesn't pay attention because they're into the Facebook, and maybe that person saying something nice, something gentle, but they don't listen. They're watching this stupidity in the Facebook, and they're losing that moment. And life is short, no matter how long you live, and these precious moments never come back again.
Exactly. Even when I'd go outside or we'd go outside, it doesn't matter. I'd be outside and you'd go to a cafe, and even couples, because I don't want this to feel that only my generation's like this targeted. No, everybody is affected by this in a negative manner.
Mm-hmm.
A fully grown couple looked like mid-20s, maybe very, very early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
You had the square coffee table.
Mm-hmm.
They had their coffee in front of them. Chair here, chair there. Phones in their hand without looking.
What's the point in a coffee shop? Coffee shop is to people to talk,
but
to converse.
Especially think that the person you love the most.
To get closer emotionally or whatever, share experience, talking to each other. They look at the point. It's better stay at home in your own garden or something.
At least you'll save money, I suppose. It's a waste of coffee.
True.
No, and I couldn't believe I was looking at it, and at that moment I said to myself, I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like them, because maybe the thing is they might have not even realized that they were doing it. That's the thing.
Probably, yeah. That's the thing. The people plunge so much in this social media that actually they didn't realize how much they lose.
Yeah.
Plunging in not I call it the dusk zone, you know.
Yeah, once you open the screen, there'll be periods, and that's kind of like gaming in general or social media. You're looking at one video and then the next one, and then by the time you realize that hours have passed, passed, and then there's been times where I realize that I go, wow, I've had nothing on today, but I definitely could have spent my time, my free time, in a better way.
And that day is gone.
Exactly.
You can't bring it back with money or with wishes or whatever you want to try to do. You can't bring the time back.
Even this, for me, how I react, just internally, I have this tingling sensation of irritation on how stupid I was to stay inside rather than even if I don't want to communicate to people, because I understand that not everybody wants to be outside all the time.
Yeah.
But even for myself to go on a walk, to clear my head out, because...
But even me and you to have a little walk and chat and maybe see something funny, talk about something funny, than being on...
And I feel like even the one-to-one communication, you go out with that one friend, and it's not about what you're doing. It's about being with somebody else, because you will feel 10 times better if, for let's say a week, you didn't have time to speak to anybody, and you go out for even that half an hour walk. The moment you walk back in there, you will feel 10 times better. You will feel relieved without being stressed about anything.
Yeah, true.
Because it just clears your mind in a way that no social media can.
They prove that meeting people twice a week, at least for a coffee and chatting with them, converse with them, it's very good for your mental health.
Exactly.
And actually it's kind of, you have to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to be mentally well and for your well-being. It's a simple thing. Meeting somebody for an hour twice a week is simple, but it's very helpful. Then if you're on the social media, it's not the same.
Exactly. Now, this is more of a hefty question, and the last question of today's episode, which is a kind of tough one to answer. Usually we like to end it off in a kind of lighter, brighter question, but it is, do you think that social media can be used as propaganda?
Unfortunately, yes. The answer is yes, and it's used a lot, and we all know that different governments spend money for propaganda, and as they realize that social media is extremely important and reach so many millions and people, millions of people they spend, and it's a lot of propaganda there. It's used as a tool and as an instrument. And that's another side of the ugliness of the social media, that is used for propaganda. Even the war now is Europe. You can see a lot of propaganda go out in the mainstream.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really care about the war. I think that all wars are bad. But even from all the sources...
No, but they try to switch you on them side, like to justify them actions. And even bringing fake news or exaggerating, which doesn't give a kind of a clear view of the whole picture, what really happened.
Because they're trying to bring everybody to one side. This is the bad side, this is the good side. But even because I've seen different sources and different information about, just specifically about the war, because one side saying we're winning the war, the other side saying we're winning the war, and I, even as a general observer, where every so often it pops up on my phone, I have no clue what's going on with the war at this point.
No, so unless you're in the
until it eventually ends, you won't really
then
know.
you'll see. And again, they will probably hide some facts about.
But that's the thing. Media has always been used in history. Before, obviously, electronic devices being created, you had the newspaper, you had the radio, and then when the TV got
even
developed,
with the Asian sources, if somebody dislikes somebody or dislikes some states, they give a very bad accounts. Like the Greeks, a lot of times give a very bad accounts for the Romans because they conquer them.
Exactly.
And so I think it's used for propaganda, the social media, and the government spends millions and trillions to invest on that. You know, because they know that propaganda front is as important as the real front line. You know, who is winning in the front line. because once you have people on your side,
And they
you know,
believe in
you
you.
have a justification of your actions, being there aggressive or not. You justify your actions when the people are behind you. Said, yeah, oh yeah, go ahead, you're right, yeah, and of course, social media is used very well for that.
Yeah, 100%. But now to finish this episode off, I want to kind of overall give my overall opinion on it is that social media is down to the individual. Because I've never had any issues with social media. I've never had any incidents with social media. I've never done anything stupid on social media. And that's down to the fact that I always was thinking before I do something or I search something or I follow through on what information I should believe. I've never had, now years of me using it, 2-3 years of using social media, I've never had any problems with it because I believe it's down to the person and how they use it and who they trust.
Yeah, you're right. Because I'm quite, in a way, opposite than you. I will engage in disputes. Sometimes are very sharp and tense disputes because people look at only the corner of the picture. They don't try to see the whole picture. That's why throwing facts, historical facts, and logical explanation for a lot of things. And yeah, how you said in the context, what you're saying is depend who. Yeah, you don't engage this and you don't experience this. I engage and I have a lot of disputes. Some of them kind of with a lot of tactlessness in the social media. So yeah, I totally agree with you in that one.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a good episode today. We had a good, I wouldn't even say clash of opinions because I think we agreed on most of them anyways. And to anybody that watched today's episode and enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos from us and you want to get notified, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And I'll catch you on the next one.